If you're watching this, there's a good chance you've been told you're smart. Maybe not once, many times. Teachers said it, family said it. People around you assumed you'd figure it out. And for a while, it felt true. Things came easily. You understood fast. You didn't struggle the way others did. So here's the painful question. Why does it feel like you're the smartest person in the room and the one making the least progress? You're not lazy, you're not stupid, and you're definitely not broken, but something isn't working. In this video, I want to explain the psychology behind why many intelligent people feel stuck and what actually helps break that pattern. Not hype, not shortcuts, just clarity. Before we continue, let me ask you something simple. Do you feel like you're underperforming compared to your potential? Leave a comment. You're not alone in this. When I was younger, being smart felt like a guarantee. School rewarded speed, quick answers, understanding without effort. You got praised for getting it, not for struggling through it. And without realizing it, you learned something dangerous. That effort meant something was wrong. When things were easy, you felt special. When they weren't, it felt like failure. That works in school. It doesn't work in life. Adult problems are messy. They don't have one right answer. They don't resolve themselves in 5 minutes. And that's where many smart people quietly fall apart. Not because they can't solve problems, but because they were never trained to sit with confusion. Here's something no one tells you. Being labeled smart early in life can create a fragile identity. Your confidence becomes tied to effortless success. So when something requires repetition, trial and error, failure, or being looked like a beginner, your nervous system panics. You don't think, I need to learn. You think, maybe I'm not smart after all. That's not logic. That's identity protection. So you avoid situations where you might struggle. You stay quiet in meetings. You don't apply for jobs you're not 100% qualified for. You abandon projects the moment they stop feeling easy. Not because you can't do them, but because you can't tolerate the feeling of not instantly excelling. Struggle feels threatening because you learned the wrong lesson early on. You learned, if I try hard, it means I'm not naturally good. But struggle doesn't mean you're losing intelligence. It means you've reached the edge of your current skill. People who struggled early learned something you didn't. That confusion is normal. That frustration is part of progress. That effort doesn't erase worth. They learned how to stay. You learned how to escape. So when effort is required, smart people often quit early, delay starting, or tell themselves, I'm not really trying. That way, failure doesn't count. It protects the identity. I'm still smart. But it also keeps you stuck. You don't fail loudly. You fail quietly by not committing. And years pass. High intelligence creates another problem: overthinking. You don't just see one path. You see all of them, all the risks, all the outcomes, all the ways it could go wrong. It feels responsible. It feels smart. But most of the time, it's just paralysis. You plan, you research, you organize, you prepare, and nothing moves. You confuse mental activity with progress. Meanwhile, someone less prepared, but more willing, starts. They adjust as they go. They learn in motion, and they win. Not because they're smarter, but because they moved. Smart minds love novelty. The beginning of things feels amazing. New ideas, new systems, and new problems. Your brain lights up, but every meaningful path becomes boring at some point. Repetition replaces novelty. Consistency replaces excitement. And that's where many smart people quit. They tell themselves, I get it already. I could do this if I wanted. Then they move on. They start many races. They finish none. They collect knowledge instead of results. Here's the truth, without sugarcoating it. Intelligence without tolerance for discomfort becomes a cage. You're not failing despite being smart. You're struggling because your intelligence has been pointed in the wrong direction. The problem isn't your brain. It's how you relate to effort, boredom, and imperfection. So how do you manage the moment where everything usually collapses? Not with motivation, not with confidence, with permission. You need permission to be bad at things, to look inexperienced, to move before certainty, because that's where growth actually starts. Here are 3 simple steps that will help you to achieve this. Step 1. Enter the fool phase. Give yourself permission to be a beginner. Not privately, in real life. Tell yourself, I'm allowed to do this badly. Detach your worth from the outcome. Your job is not to be impressive. Your job is to stay. That mindset alone removes enormous pressure. Step 2. Act before you're ready, on purpose. If you're stuck, lower the bar until starting is unavoidable. Write the worst draft. Launch the ugly version. Take the smallest visible step. Movement creates feedback. Feedback creates learning. You can't steer a parked car. Step 3. Commit to boring consistency. This is the hardest part. When the novelty fades, stay. Decide in advance. I finish before I start something new. This retrains your brain to value completion over stimulation. Boredom isn't a signal to quit. It's the gatekeeper to mastery. Don't measure progress by feelings. Instead, ask these questions. Did I show up today? Did I take a real-world action? Did I finish what I started? That's it. Consistency beats brilliance every time. You don't need to become less smart. You need to aim your intelligence at execution, iteration, and endurance. Smart thinking is useless without action. If this perspective feels grounding, consider subscribing. This channel is about using your mind sustainably, not burning it out. Let me leave you with this. Your intelligence is not a trophy. It's a tool, and tools are meant to be used, scratched, and tested. The real tragedy isn't failing. It's never trying because you're afraid of not being perfect. Stop waiting. Stop protecting an identity that's holding you back. Go do something imperfect. Go do something uncomfortable. Go do something real. If this video helped you see yourself more clearly, please like it. And remember, your potential doesn't need to be preserved. It needs to be used, one imperfect action at a time.